Hey, good people, it's the Ron Johnson Show on Locked On Sports Minnesota. I am Ron Johnson, your host. Today, we have to talk about this quarterback controversy. Is there a quarterback controversy? Did Carson Wentz do enough to make the fans feel like, let's sit the rookie for a little bit longer? Also, there's an unsung hero that I don't feel like people really understand how much of a team player this guy is. We'll talk about all that and much more coming up next on the Ron Johnson Show.
Locked On Sports Minnesota Podcast. It's endless Minnesota Vikings talk with the diverse voices of your local experts. Now the Ron Johnson Show. On the field, in the broadcast booth, Ron Johnson is Minnesota sports. He's played with them, hung out with them, and grown up with all the big names in Minnesota sports. They're hanging out with Ron Johnson. It's the Ron Johnson Show on the Locked On Sports Minnesota Podcast. And it starts now.
Hey everybody, it's Ron Johnson, and this is the Ron Johnson Show on Locked On Sports Minnesota Podcast Network. And my co-host today, Sam Ekstrom, every day, all day, every time, the guy that keeps the motor going. He's going to be joining me in a minute. But I want everybody to know, today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com and win $300 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Get it, people, $5. If it wins, you get $300 in bonus bets. What can you do with $300 in bonus bets? You can go bet the Minnesota Vikings are going to beat, I'm not going to say Steelers. Just hold on a week. Cleveland Browns, people, in London. Now, if you are a absolute masochist sicko and you want to bet the Vikings to lose, maybe the Eagles weak. But I'm not saying that. Just check that out. Go to FanDuel.com to get started. As I bring my producer, my co-host into the show, Sam Ekstrom. Today's episode, again, brought to you by FanDuel. And speaking of FanDuel, Sam, we made a lot of Sam Darnold. Or sorry, he's not here anymore. We made a lot of another redhead. We made a lot of Carson Wentz thoughts around FanDuel. 250 yards, 300 yards. Sam, it wasn't there. The yardage was not there. It wasn't the game that everybody thought he'd have. Now, the score, if I were to tell you last week, now I did tweet before the game, people. That's 3 Ron Johnson on Twitter. You can go back and timestamp check it. My tweet timestamp, right around 10:30-ish on the pregame show, I did the whole row. For those not watching on YouTube, please make sure you go to YouTube. And then you just subscribe to Locked On Sports Minnesota. Just search Locked On Sports Minnesota, and all of our shows will pop up. That's the Ron Johnson Show. But you got to see, I got the ore behind me, but I wasn't ore farming like that little kid, over there. I wasn't doing all that. I just rode the boat.
Ore farming.
I was ore. Oh, I like that. I was ore farming. I like that. I was just rowing because I said we are one blowout away from Max Brosmer being in the game. What happened? It happened. We were a blowout away, and Max Brosmer got in the game. The blowout happened. If I were to tell you, Sam, Max Brosmer is going to play in this game, what would you have guessed Carson Wentz stats would have been?
Ooh, I would have guessed Carson Wentz turned an ankle. Carson Wentz was out in the third quarter. I did not think it was going to go the way it did. I predicted the Bengals to win that game. I thought the Vikings were the less healthy team. And I was leaning Cincinnati, so I got to eat crow on this one. But it worked out. It didn't work out great for Brosmer because 2 of his guys dropped his passes, and a running back fumbled when he was on the field. So it didn't go great. But then he did. He came back out, Ron, at the end. He threw a nice little swing pass to Xavier Scott for some yards. Got a completion on the board. So I was happy for Max. And hey, he's one Carson Wentz ankle turn away from being the real starter. So we got these reps matter for him.
You know what's funny? You say that. That was the very first tweet response I think I got that morning was, no, we're a Carson Wentz injury away from Max Brosmer. And I'm like, no. We're not going there. I'm like, we're not going to put that out there. It's going to be a blowout. Max Brosmer will be in the game. And of course, it's always tongue in cheek. It's always like, I just like to have fun with it, but it worked. Nobody said we were a blowout away from Max Brose. Everybody was saying what you said, Sam, because that's what you guys do. We're an ankle. He gets thrown down to the ground too hard. He can't breathe. He has to come out for a play. Helmet gets knocked off on a big sack or something. I'm not gonna lie, Sam. I don't know if you had this feeling. Every time he scrambled or got tackled hard or thrown down, I was worried he wasn't gonna get back up. Like, I don't know, like the one where he scrambled to his left and he just looked like he had no gas. He had it's like one of those old cars you see on cartoons that the smoke is popping, poof, 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 and they're trying to go and they just can't go. And then all of a sudden, like what was that old one? The skunk and the cat, Pepe Le Pew, back with the old what was that? I forgot. Tom and Jerry and all that. Like the cat would have to jump out and push the car or something because the car doesn't work. Like, that's what I felt like Carson Wentz looked like running. It looked like somebody need to push him to a first down. Not even in the tush-push formation. Just push his tush and help him run a little bit faster. Like the movie's Angels in the Outfield. Like, that's what this game felt like. It felt like there were angels in that defensive backfield, Sam. And the reason I say that, so I told the story on the postcast, and I'll make sure I say it again. There was a big following of Vikings, former Vikings in the building. Mm-hmm. A bunch of them. I think it was 115-ish maybe. So many. They normally have like one suite up there, Sam. They had to get 3 suites to be able to account for all the alumni that decided to fill out the form saying they're going to come. So deep, they had a waiting list, Sam. A waiting list. There was a waiting list for this. Wow. I mean, also, I think Ahmad Rashad's dog took up a spot because he had to bring his dog with him. So his dog was in attendance at the game. So that probably took up a seat from somebody. But, Sam, they had a waiting list for alumni. They also honored Jim Marshall. His granddaughter blew the horn. His wife, Susan, she got to speak to the team because Kevin O'Connell asked her to. Impromptu, not prepared, not notes, not night before, hey, can you come speak to the team? She has a night to prepare. Nothing. Just, hey, do you want to speak to the team? She's like, yeah, sure, one day. He's like, can you do it now? She's like, wait, what? Because she told me, she's like, look, I don't want to talk to reporters. I don't want to do interviews. None of that. So I was like, I totally get it. I totally understand. And she put a word out to that defense that night. The team, but that defense. If anybody was helping that defense, it was Jim Marshall. Because the plays that happened, Sam, Harrison Smith just randomly running by as the ball comes. He looks up. Oh, let me put a fingertip on this. The fingertip doesn't knock it down. It doesn't sputter weirdly. It slows down almost as if you guys have seen the movie Angels in the Outfield. Sam, tell me you've seen that movie. Because for those that are new to the show today, Sam Ekstrom, my co-host, he doesn't watch movies. He doesn't watch a lot of movies. He probably he's watched Bluey, I'm guessing, or Blue's Clues or something, but Sam doesn't watch movies. Have you seen Angels in the Outfield?
I haven't seen a lot of movies, but the 90s baseball films, I do. Okay. I think I've seen all those. So I've got this one under my belt. Okay. So I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
I was a little bit nervous for a minute because there's a scene in there where the guy goes up to bat, hasn't hit a hit all year, out of shape, whatever. Angel takes hold of that bat, breaks the bat, cover coming off the ball, home run. And it's not Mel Gibson, but the other guy, Danny Glover. He's sitting back like, wait, what? And the kid was like, because the kid is telling him, I see angels in the outfield. Here's who you should put in the game because he has an angel with him today. And it's the most randomest people, which I love. For people that don't understand the story of the Bible, I love how the movie did that, where God uses the most unassuming people sometimes to kind of push his message or push his word out or get people to do stuff. Like David and Goliath, using the smallest kid to fight a giant, all that kind of stuff. When you think about that, Jim Marshall, like Isaiah Rodgers, the very next play, punch out. They happen to get it, but it still created a fourth down. Next time up, Isaiah Rodgers, punch out. But not only punch out, it lands right back in his arms, and nobody's touching him or near him. It happened so fast, the tight end got blew up because he's like, wait, how did you get the ball from me? And he gets hit in the chest. He falls to the ground, could have tore up a knee. The linemen aren't big enough, fast enough to get after Isaiah Rodgers. He skirts down the field again. Touchdown number 2. Then sack. Then then another fumble. Like, I mean, it was just one of those days that there were angels in that defensive backfield. So
Jim Marshall was on the field. He was
on the field.
Defender.
He was the 12th man. And so, Sam, when you say that, I said if there was a blowout, how many yards would Carson Wentz have had? You probably would have been right because he only had 173. Because in your mind, he had 173, then he got hurt. Like, he was having a great game. Vikings fans are super excited, and then he's hurt. I don't know what it is about that, though, Sam, but when you look at that, right? So Carson Wentz, 14 for 20. That's, like, crazy. Like, that's pretty good.
70%?
That's really good. 173 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks, 129.8. Now, the sacks, maybe a little ill-advised. Most quarterbacks probably could have run out faster than he did, probably would have picked a lane and just went and got 5 or 6 yards. He doesn't have that in his game anymore. He's a statue back there. He's not going anywhere. But the fact that he did that, no picks, 2 touchdowns, like he ate the ball when he had to. I think that's the other thing people don't realize. Like, sometimes guys force balls out there and they're almost interceptions. He didn't do that. But 173 yards, and they scored 48 points. Now, 2 of which we know were touchdowns by the defense, but 48 points, Sam. And a 62-yard field goal to end the half. So it was masterful to see the Vikings as a team. It was not just, it was special teams, it was defense, it was offense. Everybody contributed to this game. The only thing I didn't like was the double pass trick play they tried to do to get in the field goal range. That made no sense to me. Like, if you're going for the field goal anyway, I get potentially it could have been a big one because if it happens and works and nobody's over there, he's out the gate. But didn't happen. But Sam, the next thing I want to get to though, Donovan Jackson, for those that know, played with like a broken something. I'm doing it for my teammates. I'm not. Already people were hurt. Kelly was already out. So he's like, you know what, coach, I got this. They said he couldn't hurt it anymore. Like, we'll give you time to have surgery, but can you go? And he was like, coach, put me in. This goes back to like the playing guard then playing tackle for Ohio State. NFL guard, but hey, coach, if you need a tackle, put me in a tackle. I'll do it. Like, that's a team first guy. That's a guy that locker room's like, man, this dude's out here playing with a broken wrist or hand. He's just going to tape it up and put a little cast on it and play because the center is out and he didn't want to because the center probably is back. Kelly's back probably. And so now you'll have a backup guard. You'll have Darisaw. And so, again, you'll be only one guy down on the offensive line versus 2. Hopefully, Kelly can clear, I think it's concussion protocol. So that's what you look at when you think about right? It's concussion, right, for Kelly? Wasn't it concussion protocol?
It was, yeah. And KOC said he's optimistic that he can get cleared for this week.
Okay, so that's the thing because like Gink, thank goodness, was clear. He was a terror out there. Okuda was clear. Almost went back into it, but was clear. So some guys get out of it quicker than others. It's just like your brain has to relax and calm down, and you have to be ready to go again. So hopefully that he's ready to go for the Steelers game. But again, it's up to the doctors. But Sam, when you look at Donovan Jackson, like as a teammate playing like that, like not only with the team, but the city, the fans, like how do you think the reception for Donovan Jackson is going to be the Eagles game with everything people know now about him?
Yeah. I mean, I think he's already endearing himself, right? There've been a lot of young linemen come in here and struggle right away. Pat Elflein, Garrett Bradbury, Ed Ingram. And this feels different, doesn't it, Ron? This feels like a totally different breed of dude. He is pro ready. He is mauling guys with a broken wrist, and he's getting multiple blocks in one play, Ron. He's getting a little shove and getting to the next level, blocking a second guy. He was instrumental on one of Mason's touchdowns. This is quite a debut for Donovan Jackson, and I think it shapes up to be Darisaw and Jackson anchoring the left side of your line for years to come. That's an exciting prospect. So fans are really starting to take to this guy. And that endears him even more, knowing that he played through pain, played through a broken wrist, and played that well. That's really incredible. So it sounds like a minor surgery, out 2 weeks, back in week 7. Vikings kind of circling that week 7 against the Eagles where they could be getting a lot healthier.
And when you say a lot healthier, Sam, it's oodles and oodles of healthier. You should have J.J. McCarthy back. Your entire offensive line should be back. Jordan Addison's already coming back, but he'll be back. Blake Cashman should be back. Like, you are getting oodles and oodles of talent level back on that field. You'll also have Harrison Smith multiple games in now, so he's past his, he came out like gangbusters. For somebody that was, dealing with an illness, dealing with the mental capacity of the illness, am I good enough to go? Because that's what people don't realize. Like, everybody can say you're cleared to do stuff, because Harrison Smith talked about like conditioning, so clearly it was something that like he wasn't able to do a lot, because he was like, I don't know how quick I can get back into football shape. And it's not just getting back into football shape, it's also making sure like you can run at 20 miles an hour. Like, look at Cashman, like those soft tissue. That's the stuff you don't want. You don't want to come back and your conditioning's off, and all of a sudden you pull a hamstring, you pull a groin, you have like a calf, strain or something. We're seeing football players now with this turf and how it grabs. Because who just tore their Achilles? Somebody else just tore their Achilles. Running back, right?
Was that James Conner, or was that
Connor was something too, but I saw one. He had on light blue. I thought he had on like light blue socks when it happened. Panthers, maybe?
Najee Harris.
Najee Harris. Because he's with the Panthers?
I thought he was with the Chargers.
Maybe it's Chargers. Yeah, it was light blue socks. I do know. It was blue socks because I remember the calf reverberating on the video, and it was light blue socks. So, yeah, maybe it was the Chargers. But, yeah, like, it's just crazy. So, there's some of this stuff is unavoidable. But some of the stuff, like people are saying, like conditioning, the pressure you put your body through. I mean, because basketball players are talking about that. They're saying the number of Achilles in basketball, one, they're attributing it to maybe low top shoes because there's not as much heel support anymore. There's not as much ankle support anymore. So your calf and your Achilles are doing more work. Maybe. I don't know if that's the answer. But they're saying it's way more. Some people are saying it's overworked. These guys are playing basketball way too much. 82 games plus the practices plus the travel. Too many games back to back to back. They're trying to do these. Okay, you're gonna play the Spurs on Tuesday and Wednesday, and then you're gonna go jump on the road and turn around and play the Rockets because they're in Texas. It's not a far flight. You can turn around and play the Rockets, and they're playing 3 games in 4 days. And so is football the reverse? Like, are guys not doing enough because they've made it too easy in training camp? I don't know if it was Chris Carter or who, but I feel like somebody made that comment. Was it Ryan Clark? Maybe somebody made a comment about that, about the number of injuries and how training camp isn't what it used to be. And maybe that's the reason why guys are pulling stuff, and stuff's like soft tissue injuries are happening because guys aren't they're not beating their body up for 2 weeks like we used to. It's walk through, then practice, walk through, then practice, walk through, then practice. Like it used to be for us was 8 a.m., 9 a.m., full go, practice. Like, get your body up, wake up. You're like still wiping crust out your eyes and you're out there about to go kill somebody. Then you take a little 2-hour break. You have lunch, 3-hour break. You have lunch. You have a little nap, and then you're back at 2:30. So you get 4 to 5 hours between. You go 8 to like 10. Then you got your little break, you got a little lunch, you got a nap, you got meetings, and then you get taped up and you're doing it all again. Now, whether you don't pads back to back, you would go pads and then maybe non-padded, but it's 2 practices. It's not that walk through stuff and then practice, walk through and then practice. It's basically 1 practice a day with like a walk through to get stuff done on the field. And so I think that's what some people are saying, like these injuries. But Donovan Jackson, coming back, the full team of health, coming back against the Eagles. Now, Sam, here's one thing. I don't want to look too far ahead because, this is the 1-0 championship season, as PJ Fleck would say, for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I got Pittsburgh Steelers stuff behind me, so we're gonna ignore that. But there's some Steelers stuff back there,
It's all good. You got a family connection.
If you're not watching on YouTube, you're missing out, people. I got the, there's a little bit of, there's a little bit there where I'm just like, this game. It's one of those games where I know my dad is like, you pulling for the Vikings in this one, son? I'm like, Dad, I kind of want them to win. But I'm going to be watching intently, getting ready for the post game show. I might even wear my Steelers. I got a Steelers pin, so I might even wear that as a tribute to my dad this weekend. I think I am going to wear it. I think I talked myself into it. I'm going to wear my Steelers pin. Nothing against. It's not saying I'm cheering for the Steelers. It's just, hey, my dad's here with me this morning. Steelers playing the Vikings. Doesn't happen a lot. Was this supposed to be? Is this the Vikings home game? Like, whose home game is this? This losing?
It's a Steelers home game.
Steelers home game. Okay.
And the Browns is also a Browns home game. So these are technically road games for the Vikings, which is good because it's kind of neutral. It's not neutral like a road crowd. Yeah, it's a neutral game that counts as a road game.
I do feel like the Vikings are undefeated in London, so I think they're going to beat the Browns. The Steelers, we'll see. I'm doing a little Aaron Rodgers breakdown today. And so I've been looking at, his last game. He doesn't throw the ball far a lot. It's a lot of short passes that turn into big stuff. Like he doesn't sling it like he used to. So I'm interested in how Brian Flores is going to treat that, because you have to pay attention to underneath. Everything he's been throwing, that what I've been looking at, has been underneath throws. He does a great job of reading the defense. But looking at heading into that week of Ireland, Sam, when you think about this Vikings team, it's who can go, who's going to be healthy. And honestly, it comes down to Jordan Mason. And so I know we can talk about this in the next segment too, because we didn't talk about this. 1, is there a quarterback controversy? 2, is there a running back controversy? Who's RB1 heading into the Steelers game? Like Aaron Jones, did they say how long he's out? He's IR. Okay, so he's out for 4 weeks.
Another guy that comes back for the Eagles game.
Week 7. Yeah. So he's out. So, is this going to be, week 7 Eagles? Is it Jordan Mason's on a tear, 100+ yards a game? Like, can you just give it back to him? But we'll talk about that we'll talk about all that and much more coming up next. But we got a short pause and a word from our sponsors.
We're brought to you today by FanDuel Sportsbook, and you can still get $300 in bonus bets with a simple $5 bet. All you have to do is win it. A $5 bet. Find a juicy money line. Late season MLB, you got some quitting teams out there. Find a minus 900. Who cares? Get $300 in bonus bets, and then you can put that on the NFL slate, futures bets. You can put together a same-game parlay, live wagering, all good options. Vikings in Ireland favored by 2.5. We'll talk about that line and more as this show continues. Might be tempting to take another Jordan Mason over the way he's running the football. It's all at FanDuel and FanDuel Sportsbook. If you're ready to play, download the FanDuel Sportsbook app or visit FanDuel.com. That's FanDuel.com and place your first $5 bet.
Well, Sam, I kind of teased it before we got to this, so let's just jump into it. You brought up Aaron Jones, IR now, week 7 as well. Eagles, sounds like everybody's coming back for the Eagles. Eagles have not looked great. They've looked good, but they have not looked great. Like, they have not looked like the Eagles of old. The Eagles that, like, you can just pick the Eagles time and time again, and you're like, this Eagles team is going to win. You look at week 1. Versus the Cowboys, because Jalen Hurts talked about that too, and everybody was on him. 19 for 23. Very efficient day. 152 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions though, but no touchdown. Now, he did run for 62 yards. We know that. Saquon ran for 60. But the Cowboys, same thing. Dak Prescott, under 200 yards passing. No interceptions, no touchdowns. CeeDee Lamb, 110 yards receiving, but didn't score a touchdown. And then we know about the A.J. Brown, not such a great day as well. People were arguing who had a better day, CeeDee Lamb. That's the whole Ryan Clark. For people that don't know, the Ryan Clark blow up on TV was over CeeDee Lamb versus AJ Green. And honestly, Ryan tried to say, that's my guy. But here's what I say. If I had 110 yards and I lost the game and AJ Brown had 1 catch and he won the game, from a who won the game perspective, yes. But who had a better day? It ain't got nothing to do with fantasy football, because they tried to make it about fantasy football and all this other stuff and non-player. CeeDee Lamb had a better day. He had 110 yards. A.J. Brown had 1 catch. I don't care how you spin it. He had a better day. Now, as a teammate, he won the game. But let's be real. He went home and read a book pissed off. He was not happy about that. And then you look at the he did. Then you look at the Eagles against the Chiefs. They won the game. But Jalen Hurts, 101 yards passing. That's almost 90 yards. He was 1 play away from 90 yards, less than 100 yards passing. 78 passer rating. No touchdowns, no interceptions, though. Nothing. A.J. Brown this time, 5 catches, but only 27 yards. Saquon Barkley, still not 100 yards, 88 yards. That's the whole Chris Jones mic'd up thing. Again, I love to help you guys understand what's going on in today's pettiness of football. Chris Jones comes to the line of scrimmage. You barely had 100 yards, and he was like, "Shut up, punk, we won." That was that exchange, because he did. He had 101 yards passing. Now, the fact that Chris Jones knew that, Stop paying attention to the stats mid-game. Like, just play football. I don't understand how you knew he only had 100 yards. I mean, I do know they show that crap on the screen and all that, so maybe that's what he was looking at. But 101 yards passing. But they won the game. Just like Herm Edwards would say, hello, we play to win the game. That's what Herm Edwards would say in that moment. They did. Now, Jalen Hurts picked it up a little bit against the Rams. 226 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, 117 passer rating. A.J. Brown goes off. 6 catches, 109 yards, and a touchdown. That book is getting put down. People, he is excited. He does not need to read a book. That's the difference. Puka Nacua, though, went off to 11 catches, 112 yards. My guy, Matthew Stafford, less than 200 yards, 1 interception. That's the killer. But the Eagles found a way to win. Sam, I say that all to say we still got Eagles still got a couple games to play before they play the Vikings. They got the Buccaneers, which is that's going to be a get beat up
Two
game.
teams that just find a way to win by one possession at the end.
Correct.
I think they each have 3 wins by a possession.
Yeah, and there's no way. There's an easy 1 in 5. I'm not gonna say everybody's easy, but there's an easier 1 in 5 and 6 weeks 5 and 6 before they got to play the Vikings. They got. I'm not calling it a bye week, people. I'm not saying that. But they play the Giants. Come on now, Giants are 0-3 at this point. They might be 0-5 by week 6, but they play the Giants. They also have the Broncos, which Bo Nix has not looked great. He's looked okay, but he has not looked great. So that's 2 games for the Eagles. So they probably walk into US Bank Stadium at that point 6-0 to play the Minnesota Vikings on a Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern. Also, they're going to be rested, Sam. I don't know if you realize that either. They play Thursday night against the Giants. So not only an easier opponent, they also have additional days to rest. So they will be rested, and the Vikings will be coming off their bye week as well. So you'll have 2 rested, healthy Eagles versus Vikings. Sam, the Vikings, honestly, at that point, could be 5-1 or 4-1. Vikings could be 4-1, Sam, heading into week 7. Like, because again, Steelers, Browns, the Vikings are 2-1. Nobody saw it coming. I did. I got to look back and see if I said they'd be 4-1 or 2. I thought they'd be 3-2 maybe. I thought the Steelers was a loss, but I might have had them as a win because I didn't know who their quarterback was at this time when we did the schedule release. Because I don't think Aaron Rodgers signed until after that, right? After the NFL schedule release, then Aaron Rodgers signed later.
So at the time, you probably thought the Steelers had no quarterback at all.
Correct. I didn't know who their quarterback was going to be. I think rumors were like potentially Justin Fields, potentially Russell Wilson, maybe getting re-signed. Like, we didn't know what was going to happen. Potentially draft a guy. So I wasn't too high on the Steelers back then. So I might have said, but I think I did say 4-1. I got to look at my notes. They could be 4-1, Sam. It still can happen. Like, when I said they'd be 4-1, people were like, whatever. You're wrong. It's J.J. McCarthy. Hey, these teams might be 4-1. That defense is playing great. And the Browns just, like, played really good defense against who they just beat that nobody thought they could beat. Packers. Yep. They played really good defense. Because, and Matt LaFleur said this. I don't know which player. Did you see that? Matt LaFleur said one of the players talked about, like, he looked ahead. He, like, overlooked this game. He started talking about, like, the next week or something.
I know that Parsons was talking about going undefeated. I think that got brought up during the week that the Packers, they were 2-0 and talking about going undefeated. I think LaFleur got bothered by that. Yeah, because LaFleur came out and said we need to worry about looks ahead. Let me see if I can pull it up. He said something today because I was listening to my guy Dan Patrick on the way in. And he said that Jacobs. Following the loss, Jacobs stated the team needs to look in the mirror. After the loss, Parsons was acquired, blah, blah. Yeah. So anyway, they were it was something about there it is. Rasheed Walker. The offensive lineman Rasheed Walker mentioned the possibility of going undefeated with Micah Parsons in the locker room and praised the culture before the game. So the culture is great now. Micah Parsons, we can go undefeated. So it was Rasheed Walker, people. That's the guy that said it. We can go undefeated. And he said that before this game. That is literally, I mean, I'm not superstitious, but I'm a little stitious. And so when that's the kiss of death. You can't say that.
You cannot say that. We might go undefeated. I don't see anybody beating us. Like, yeah, okay. The Browns definitely did. For those that know what that noise is, you need to get on social media more. That's the thing, the noise they always play when they show highlights and somebody like made a dumb mistake. I don't know what that is. I don't know who made that sound, but it's hilarious every time they do it. But Joe Flacco, 142 yards, so not a great day. Jordan Love, 183 yards. So again, the Browns don't look great. Packers now look beatable. Steelers are beatable. People, Vikings could be 4-1 heading to play the Eagles, and then at that point, it is what it is. It could be the Vikings beating the Eagles with a fully healthy team. But Sam, so the first thing I want to say, you talked about the Aaron Jones into the Eagles week. Is there a running back potential controversy if we get 3 weeks of absolute Mason running the ball down people's throats?
Yeah, and I don't even know how controversial it is. I think it would be an easy decision to give Mason the bulk of the carries, not just because he's been running well, Ron, but I think that you don't want to put any more stress on Aaron Jones' lower body than you have to. I think it probably becomes maybe a 2-to-1 ratio. If you're giving 15 to Mason, you're giving 7 to Jones. That might be the preferred way to go about it. I did a stat yesterday with Mason. When he gets 10 or more carries in a game in his career, and you combine all those times, 5.3 yards per carry. I mean, the guy loves volume. The guy does better when he gets in the rhythm, gets hit a few times. So I would load him up, and I would let Aaron Jones be the change of pace, be a guy that can catch the football. He can still have a big impact. But I think that Mason is just younger, fresher, stronger right now at this point in his career. Do you think it's a controversy?
I don't know if I would call it controversy. I think you hit the nail on the head with like younger and more productive. Aaron Jones at his age probably would rather have something like that. And I think that's it, and it works for him to be long-term, to play long-term. And that's the key. Sam, the next one I'm going to go with you on is quarterback controversy. Now, here's the thing. We talked about the run game, right? So the Steelers gave up 107 yards to Breece Hall, but then after that, nothing. They didn't give up big yardage to any other running back after that. I mean, the last game, the quarterback, I think Drake May was the leading rusher. Yeah, Drake May was the leading rusher with 45 yards. Travion Henderson had 28 yards. Gibson had 28 yards, and Stevenson had 18 yards. Drake May, though, threw for 268 and 2 touchdowns. And then our guy, Sam Darnold almost threw for 300 yards. But he did have 2 picks, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. They still beat the Steelers, though, 31-17. But 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Sam Darnold, 295. Sam, the fact that this team back-to-back weeks almost gave up 300 yards passing to Drake May and Sam Darnold, do you think that our guy, Carson Wentz, gunslinger, 1 week in now, can go out there with Justin Jefferson, TJ Hawkinson, because they don't get do they get Addison back for this game?
Yeah.
Addison's back. Welcome back, free 3. Sam, we haven't even talked about 3 is back. We were supposed to talk about it in the first segment. I totally forgot, Sam. I don't even know what USC's fight song is. I think that was Michigan's, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know whose that was.
USC's maybe I'm wrong. Isn't it?
That's Florida State, I thought.
Oh,
that's the Tomahawk, Florida State.
Oh,
For those watching the show, please just tweet at us. Let us know what USC's. I know it's like fight on. I know that's what they say. Fight on. Like, because they're Trojan and whatever. But Sam, free 3 is back. So you got 3 overseas in Ireland. You got Carson Wentz. Now, here's the difference, though. Carson Wentz and Addison don't have a connection yet. Like, his connection was with J.J. McCarthy. So maybe we don't see a true free 3 until the Eagles game. But Carson Wentz now has Justin Jefferson, healthy. Jordan Addison, healthy. TJ Hawkinson, look good. He's back. He understands how to stack the routes. He understands how to attack the linebacker. he's back. And then you also have Oliver, caught a touchdown. You also have Naylor, healthy. Thielen, got to put it together. Like it's maybe his nerves being back. Expectations were high. We were talking about 3 deep and all this other stuff. Jake Reed and Chris Carter and Randy Moss. Nah, I'm not seeing that. Not right now. I'm not seeing that. I'm not even seeing that because they don't have a quarterback like Randall Cunningham or Brad Johnson. It hasn't been shown just yet. So free three, excited about that. When you think about this, I think Carson Wentz can maybe throw for 300 yards, Sam. Like, this defense is giving up 295 to Sam Darnold. Now, again, they do have absolute weapons in Seattle. But I think the Vikings have those same weapons, Sam. Like Seattle's weapons, Vikings weapons. I don't know, Sam. And then the Patriots to give up 268 to Mac Jones. The Patriots don't have better weapons than the Vikings.
Drake May over there.
Drake May is not better than Carson Wentz or Sam or what's his name or Sam Darnold.
They gave up 32 points to Justin Fields in week 1 as well. It made Justin Fields look pretty good. So their defense had, they only give up 14 to New England, but they took the ball away 5 times. They pulled the Vikings. They took it away a million times.
Their defense
Patriots
helped them.
moved the ball though when they weren't turning it over. So there's an opportunity here.
Sam Darnold was 22 for 33, 295 yards. Their big weapons was Smith and Jigba and Cooper Kupp, because I forgot they do have Cooper Kupp now. So that is a heavy 1-2 punch. But what were you gonna say, Sam?
Well, I'm wondering, what are the conditions going to be in Ireland? I mean, Ireland is
rainy.
not known for its warmth. It's known for its wind. It's known for its rain. Is it an indoor field they're playing at? Do you know, Ron? I don't know.
Think so.
I don't know if it's a retractable roof situation in Dublin. Not sure. So are we going to get some conditions, and what is that going to mean for the offenses? And I'm really, like, last year, Brian Flores really terrorized Aaron Rodgers in London. Can they do that again to Rodgers? Because he's not super mobile anymore. This pass rush has been unbelievable. They're healthy right now. The interior's been really good. So, I mean, I think that you might not need a huge offensive performance around to get it done. You might just need 21 points.
Yeah, and so when you think about that, I'm looking for a big game from Darnold. I think the 250 plus is attainable. I know we're going to do picks tomorrow and FanDuel props. My prop is, I think I tried to have it this week and it didn't work. I think I said, 200 yards from Carson Wentz maybe or something like that. Can't remember what I said exactly, but I thought it was 200 yards. I don't think he hit it, or maybe I'm wrong. Was he was right under 200 yards.
He was under 200 yards. I'll have to go back and check what.
Yeah, I think I said 200, but he went 173 because he got taken out. Like, I think he could have got to 200. Yeah, because him and Max Brosman together were literally like 20. Was that 202? Yep, 202. 202 yards with those two guys together. So I kind of get my prop. Put Max Brosman
halfway.
Max Brosman and Wentz together because it was 202. So if the defense wasn't so good, I would have got my Carson Wentz 200 plus yards. But this week, I think I'm going with the 250, Sam. I think they're going to have to throw their way out of this thing. I think Jordan Mason's going to do well over there. Overseas always seems to be like there's an unsung hero. Like it used to be Adam Thielen would always come up with a big play. I think this is going to be a Jordan Addison, I want to see what his celebration is in Ireland I feel like though, like from a marketing the United States football to these over there, to the overseas people, not saying it's scripted, Sam, but Justin Jefferson's going to score. Like they want to see an international gritty. They do. They want the gritty overseas. They're like, they have to. They have to want to see it. Is there any Ireland something that the defense can come up with a team celebration that pays homage to Ireland? Like
Irish jig, there's
jig, bagpipe. There's bagpipes over there.
Yeah, that's maybe more. I don't know if it's more of a Scotland thing, but it's close.
But yeah, so I wonder if there's going to be any homage. I know if Cam Bynum was there, he would be ready to dance the jig.
I think that with a name like O'Connell, I think Kevin O'Connell should wear green on the sideline, don't you? Make it clear which coach to cheer for.
I'm about to say, or you got the redhead, like the Notre Dame guy, the leprechaun, like Sam or Carson Wentz should come out with the leprechaun outfit on or hat or something, like, or I mean, I know you can't have props, but maybe they go find a pot of gold like under the goalposts, like they lift up the goalpost and they pull out like a little pot of gold or something, or like it's something. You got to have something. I don't know what they could do over there because you really, I mean, maybe just sit down and have a big pint of beer and they act like they're clinging beers and they chug it. I don't know. and they walk off drunk. I don't know if the NFL wants them to walk off drunk off the field because I don't know if you remember that. I don't know if you remember they all took a shot on the field one time as a joke, and Josh Metellus was stumbling at the end. You probably didn't catch that, but you got to go back and catch that. I tweeted that years ago when they did that team celebration. It was they all were pouring drinks with the football, and then they all took a drink, and Josh Metellus was like stumbling. So I don't know if the NFL would be okay with that, promoting drinking and stumbling out the bars, but that could be one in Ireland. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens when they get over there. But Sam, like just to put a bow on the second segment, that's the biggest takeaways I think we had. We got Jordan Addison returning. Donovan Jackson is an absolute team player. He's a beast. Running back controversy, I don't think it's a controversy. Jordan Mason, we both kind of agree. It's kind of his show right now. And then quarterback controversy, though, and you didn't answer this one. Sorry, let me let you answer this. Mm-hmm. Carson Wentz throws for 300 yards against the Browns because the Browns are not good. Against the Browns and the Steelers. What do people say when J.J. McCarthy just gets the reins back against the Eagles? And if J.J. McCarthy struggles out the gate against the Eagles, are people screaming, put Wentz back in?
Yeah, I feel like Kevin O'Connell kind of kept the door open for this as well. He didn't say that McCarthy was definitely coming back against the Eagles. I think they're waiting and seeing. I think I'll say this. He's not earned it yet, but Carson Wentz has the opportunity to earn the job against the Eagles. I think that he could play his way into that job. I think he didn't do it against the Bengals. Mm-hmm. I thought he managed the offense. He was okay. I think if he has two big games overseas, it changes the equation. And I think that the team is so focused on winning with this roster that they would give Wentz the chance against the Eagles. But he's got to play at a very high level to earn that.
Yeah, because we saw the RPO last game. We talked about that. Kevin O'Connell drew up an RPO for him, which means Kevin O'Connell was in the lab. I mean, now you give him another week plus a long flight. I mean, what do you do for 7 to 8 hours, Sam? You draw plays. Like you watch film and you draw plays. You got 8 hours at least sitting on a plane, if not 9, because when you first get on the plane, you still got to board the plane. You still got to wait for everybody to sit down, everybody to buckle up, everybody to, do the checks. Is the weight balanced? Is the bags underneath balanced? Are the players balanced? For those that don't know, that is real. You can't put all the offensive linemen on the same side of the plane. Because it would be imbalanced if you put like 10,000 pounds to one side and then 5,000 pounds on the other. The flight would. So there's a way to for them to calibrate and figure out the weight. So I think they assign seats. So when players get on, they kind of know like takeoff in flight, you can move around, do whatever you want, but takeoff and landing, please be in your assigned seats. That happened to us one time with the Gophers. We had too many linemen sitting on one side and they had to switch sides. So you like to sit near your friends. Those are your teammates. Those guys you go to battle with, but you got to spread it out. You can't put too many linemen in the front versus the back. It's like a chessboard. They got to figure it out. Nobody sits next to each other on an international flight, especially with big guys like that. Everybody's kind of have their big seats. I'm guessing they're not going to do one of those really, really nice planes where guys got the coves and they can go to sleep. I think they did that one year with the players. They had the big giant plane for those guys that each have their own little cubbies. Maybe they will though. I don't know. Maybe they will. But my guess is they'll just do a nice large place with large plane with leg room, and there'll be every other seat, so nobody's sitting next to each other. And it's a long flight. You talk to your friend for a little bit, then you put your movie on, and it's gonna be 8 p.m. I think when they take off, 9 p.m. So a lot of guys are gonna watch a movie probably up until 10, 11 o'clock, and then everybody's gonna be asleep. It's gonna be snoring throughout the plane. Offensive lineman, I'm punching you if you snore too loud. But that's why you put your headphones on, turn a movie on, and then you fall asleep. So you can't hear all that at night because it's quiet and it's weird. If you don't get sleep, you're gonna be absolutely exhausted. So my guess is they're telling players, look, sleep for this whole as much as you can. Sleep this flight so that you're rested when we get there, because you're gonna only have a little bit more of sleep, and then we got to get up and get ready for practice because you got to get on that time zone. Blah blah, get your body rhythms, all that. I don't know if they're gonna do that during this week to get their rhythms ready to go, kind of like a different practice schedule. Who knows? We'll see. We know PJ Fleck did that with Cal. He had the players practicing at night versus during the day because it was a night game. I guess it's for night games. He'll do that too at Ohio State, have the players come practice at night because that just got named to be a night game with the Gophers. But we'll talk about all that maybe later this week, maybe next week we'll pull up some Gophers, but we do have the Gophers in the Daily 3 coming up. So we got the Daily 3 coming up, about a minute each today, and we'll do that after a quick pause. Well, now it's time for the Daily 3, Sam. Take it away.
Let's talk about those Gophers. They are off their bye, and they've got Rutgers on Saturday. And Ethan Kaliak-Manis, the quarterback who's been playing well this year, it's at home, right, Ron? It's at Huntington Bank Stadium. Gophers 2-1. Who you got in Gophers Rutgers?
Oh, this is a tough one, Sam. This is a tough one for me. So Rutgers beat the Gophers last time. Let's not forget. They went there last year, and the Gophers beat them. It was their home field advantage. I feel like the Gophers Stadium. So here's the thing about Ethan Kaliak-Manis. One, he's going to be juiced up because he was here. They didn't want him. He had to move on and go to another school. He's doing great this year. He's one of the top quarterbacks as far as statistics go. But this Gophers defense is hungry. They kept that kid from Cal kind of under wraps. I don't think they blitzed him enough, though. That's the thing. If you look at San Diego State, blitzed the crap out that kid, and they beat him 34-0. So the Gophers probably were a little bit too let's sit back and worry about all 5 of the receivers versus let's just make this kid throw the ball quick. Let's see if he can make a quick decision. And that's what San Diego State did. They're like, this kid can throw, but let's make him get the ball out of his hands quicker than he wants to. And so I'm going with the Gophers, though. I'm going to go with the Gophers. I'm going to have a little bit of faith in this defense. I'm going to have a little bit of faith in Drake Lindsey turnaround. We already found a weapon in Lemeki Brockington, so I think that's going to be used a little bit more this weekend. And then Jalen Smith kind of was not there. But Corey Parrish, I don't think he has 2 bad games like that. That's one of those I'm just trying to make too much happen on a night game. Juices are flowing, adrenaline. He made 2, catching the ball inside your own 5 or 10. That's the first mistake. And then the other one, of course, he fumbled a punt, muffed a punt. And that might have sealed the fate of the Gophers. It was 17-14 at that point, and they had a chance to win if he just catches that punt. It's one of those things, trying to make a play happen versus, yelling poison, get away from the ball. Let's just let the offense get a chance, and, let's not give them back the ball with a short field. And that's what they did. So I think that's kind of the one for me. I got to pull for the Gophers on this one. What you got?
Yeah, I like Minnesota too. I wouldn't read too much into Ethan's stats just simply because he played Ohio, Miami, Ohio, and Norfolk State in his first 3 games.
Right.
That's not a true test. He lost in the true test against Iowa. I'm going to take Minnesota. Big game for Jake Lindsey. This is a veteran quarterback he's going against. Lindsey's young. He's got to prove himself now in conference play where they kind of reset the deck. Let's jump to the NFL. Need your reaction from the blocked field goal frenzy we saw Sunday afternoon. Eagles with 2 blocked field goals. Packers had a field goal blocked to lose to the Browns, and then the Jets with a remarkable block and return against the Bucs. What'd you think of all that?
Not only that, but the number of games that were going to come down to a field goal. That was crazy, the number of teams that lined up to kick a game-winning go-ahead field goal. But yeah, I mean, that just shows pressure on special teams. A lot of people get to that field goal sometimes and they treat it like, it's going to make it. You never really block these. DBs kind of do what they do. They bend the edge and just run through because they want to show coach on film they're working hard. No, up the middle, these special teams coaches are coming up with schemes. I don't know how they're doing it, who they're doing it with. Instead of putting big guys there, they're putting littler guys that are quicker, that can kind of literally jump over the legs, because you're not allowed to jump over the center because that got changed. You can't touch the center. You have to completely clear him, which we've seen that from a couple. I think the Seahawks did it back in the day with Cam Chancellor. So if you can't completely clear them, I think they're putting littler guys that can just jump over the legs and they're quick, and so those guys are getting through there and they're blocking these field goals. So that was huge. I just say then for the Vikings, because we know field goals have been known to be terror. And the fact that 62-yard field goal was made, I don't know if that exercises any demons of Vikings fans and field goals because it happened in a game that didn't matter at that point. It's already a blowout. I just hope the Vikings have taken note and said, look, we got to make sure we're shored up and blocking these field goals because we got to be able to block because these guys are coming.
Yeah, Will Reichert's on a heater right now. I just think it was crazy that in that Packers field goal that got blocked and the Rams field goal at the end, those were not long field goals. Those were 43, 44 yards. So it's not like they had a super low trajectory either, though. That's just good work by the field goal block units. Last one, Ron. I checked FanDuel. Vikings are favored by 2.5 in that Ireland game against the Steelers. Are you surprised the Vikings are favored against Rodgers, against Tomlin, against a 2-1 Pittsburgh team?
No, because of what I brought up about how the Steelers have won these games and the amount of offense they've given up. I think what the betters, one is this is the betters though, Sam, too. It's what the early bets are and then what the early odds feel like, and then they're going to look at who's betting this stuff. If a lot of people take the Steelers, that number is probably going to come down. That's the thing I'm looking at. Like, and same thing, if a lot of people take the Vikings, that number is going to come down. Like, they're just trying to figure out what the temperature is like. If it's kind of back and forth, people are betting Steelers, half people are betting Vikings, and the house doesn't feel like they're going to take a bath, then they're going to leave it at that. But I think, and it could, injury report comes out, all the stuff changes week 2. That might change the report a little bit if certain people aren't going to play, certain people aren't going to travel, like all kinds of, like we're not to Thursday. Thursday they get on the plane. We got to make it through Wednesday's, tomorrow's practice, and Thursday's practice before we even get an idea. Because that Thursday, I think, is the most crucial because they'll say like so-and-so's not traveling, which means if they don't travel, do they then just wait here, try to get healthier, and then make the London game, like fly out on their own to London? Because that can happen too. So I think all that's going to matter, and then if it's one of those like so-and-so's not going, which means he's not going to make any of the international games, then you can sit back and be like, okay, what is this injury? But my guess is everybody wants to be out of this country for 2 weeks. That's a trip. That's an experience. They get to do all the stuff. I mean, you're basically living over there. Like, you got to bring 2 weeks worth of clothes, all that kind of stuff. So that's which I hope is just 1 week. Like, I hope these players don't overdo it. Just bring 1 week of clothes and wash your clothes. Like, when you get to the next hotel, just go take some quarters down there. Wash the clothes, like you guys could do, or you're rich. Use the laundry service. There's probably a laundry service that will wash your whites for you, wash your darks for you, fold them and bring it back to your room. International people have so much. They have it figured out for us. I'm pretty sure the NFL has it figured out for them too, that they can use some washers and dryers, but because they have to wash the uniforms. Like, all this stuff has to get washed after every practice. So it's somewhere getting done. So they find a way to do it, whether it's a laundromat. I don't know if they do those internationally, if they have laundromats like we do in the U.S. But I think that number, I think it's right when you look at the Steelers defense. The Steelers defense have given up a lot of yards. They did add Jalen Ramsey, which added a lot of bravado on that defense, a lot of gumption. Mike Tomlin and Aaron Rodgers both seem to love the petty of walking out the stadium and laughing at the fans, on their way out the door and saying bye-bye, see you later. Foxborough, when they did that in New England, they like that. So, but I still think the Vikings are a better overall team, and probably a little bit younger too at most positions. So that's where that comes from. I don't know. Are you surprised at the 2.5?
I was a little bit, just because it's it's Rodgers against Wentz. I thought that Rodgers might get the nod and the respect, and that Steelers, 2-1 is the same record as the Vikings, and the Vikings have a lot of injuries, but the Vikings, maybe they're taking into account the Vikings' good record in Europe. Undefeated over there, Ron. So maybe that matters.
Could be. That could be it. Undefeated over there. And that's I think they have a huge following in Ireland too. Like, that's like a Steeler country over there. Whereas London seems to be Vikings. So we'll see what happens in those. But maybe the Vikings return back to the US 4-1, going to play the Eagles. And the Eagles coming off of their Thursday night game as well. 2 easy ones for them. But maybe they fall. Maybe they look ahead. Maybe they do what the Packers did, and they look for an undefeated. We have a chance to be undefeated. Maybe they overlook somebody. But I'm Ron Johnson. That's Sam Ekstrom. Thank you guys for joining me today on the Ron Johnson Show. Stay tuned this month, next month as well. We got some big guests lined up. We got Jake Reed, former Viking. We got Randall McDaniel as well, and then Blaine Bishop, who was a part of the Music City Miracle. We got to talk to him a little bit and see, like, how does that compare to the Minneapolis Miracle and which one is tops on his list. We'll do that all in the next couple of weeks. Looking forward to it. Thank you guys for continuing to like, share, download, tell a friend that we're here. Make sure you guys check out all of our postcasts as well on YouTube following every Twins, Vikings, Gophers, and Wolves game. And right now, of course, every Vikings and Gophers games, people, make sure you check it out. We got some great content. We're breaking down the games. We're telling you what you should watch, what you missed. Luke Inman is broadcasting live with Team Espers. Never miss a postcast by subscribing to Locked On Sports Minnesota on YouTube. Remember, go to YouTube. Super simple. That's YouTube. Everybody knows it. And then make sure you subscribe to Locked On Sports Minnesota. I want to thank you guys. Have a great week, people.